Hello, and welcome to Ice is Slippery, an unserious podcast about hockey brought to you by 1.5 hockey fans. My name is Kate, and I'm the hockey fan.
And my name is Fred. I am half a hockey fan.
Good morning, Fred. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm present.
You're present and accounted for. Sometimes that's all you can do.
I am here, ready to go.
It's been a day already.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to make you do too much small talk with me because it's been a busy week, so I think we should just get right into it.
All right, might as well. Let's do this thing.
All right. Well, just a quick update on World Juniors since that's been going on.
Been a lot of talk around that, huh?
Yeah. Again, you're not really following that, except that I'm updating you on it.
Yeah, you're not following it entirely.
I'm not following it entirely. I'm following it more than I ever have.
Right.
But
You don't have a choice.
Right. Just when you're in the hockey ecosystem, these things just permeate your consciousness.
Yeah.
As it were. I did actually have one of the games on as background the other day when I was working too. So that was kind of fun.
All right. Well, yeah, give me the deets. I know there's been drama.
There has been. Well, the big drama, of course, being that Canada went home really early. It was pretty embarrassing, I guess. They just stopped practicing partway through the tournament.
Yeah, I'm no coach, but...
Yeah, I don't think it was the players' fault. It was pretty much what everybody said. There were some undisciplined penalties maybe, but pretty much everybody agrees it came down to roster selection and inexplicable coaching decisions, including the lack of practice.
Yeah, including the lack of... Oh, boy.
So the final is going to be tonight.
Okay.
Last night, the U.S. beat Czechia. So as expected, the final tonight will be between U.S. and Finland.
Gotcha.
And Finland did beat the U.S. in OT in the preliminary round. So it should be an exciting final.
Well, as you know, I picked Finland right from the start before I heard anybody's rosters or anything.
It's true. It's because you're spiritually Finnish, as we discussed in a previous episode.
I was like, well, they're going to win.
Of course.
And they continue to prove me right.
You've already chosen Finland in the Four Nations face-off as well.
Yeah, it was easy.
Despite being American.
It was easy.
You are the most patriotic Finnish person I've ever met for somebody who's never been to Finland.
I know. They're going to welcome me when I go there.
They are. As much as you are welcomed there, which I understand is very, very quietly and without much fanfare, which is exactly how you like it.
I will understand their welcome.
Exactly. You're here for it. Some other big events going on. The Winter Classic took place on New Year's Eve this year.
Yeah.
It usually takes place on January 1st or January 2nd if there are, college football games or things going on. Mm-hmm. But they took it for a test drive on New Year's Eve this year. It didn't go well for them. It was the lowest rated Winters Classic ever.
Yeah, people are busy doing other things.
Right, like having fun and partying.
Yeah, not watching two teams play outside.
Yeah, I think the Chicago Bedards and the St. Louis Blues were maybe not the most inspiring picks, especially since it seems like Chicago plays in these every other year.
Right.
I get it. I guess they have had historically a large national viewership. I think that was maybe when they were good. They haven't been good in a while. So
yeah,
maybe mix it up a little bit. I don't know. I'm not a marketing expert.
Yeah. The one we saw last year, which was my team of the year, the Kraken, right?
Yes, the Kraken and Vegas.
That was more fun, at least. I didn't enjoy it, but the fanfare around it, everything just seemed a little bit more fun.
It seems like casual and loose. This one seemed very busy and important.
Right.
But then the vibes were weird because the crowd was so freaking far away.
Yep.
And the funniest part was really when the players were coming down the staircase.
That was the best part. Best part of the whole thing.
And you just saw that really as sort of an interstitial between periods. And then you saw it as a clip online later because you were like, I'm not watching this.
Yeah.
This is nonsense.
Yeah, that was the best part. Yeah, I don't know if it was Chicago, if it's Wrigley, if it was the weather, if it was the day, if it was the teams, but it didn't click for me. I wasn't interested.
It wasn't great. It averaged apparently 920,000 viewers, so it didn't even have 1 million viewers.
Yeah.
That's really bad.
Is it?
That's pretty bad.
Okay.
That's bad. It was down, I think, 48% from 2 years ago.
Oh, that's a number I can understand.
That's a substantial dip.
Yep.
On Sunday, Sidney Crosby broke Mario Lemieux's assist record and now has the most assists in the history of the Pittsburgh Penguins franchise.
Okay.
So that's just a stat that I think is notable enough to comment on.
Oh, is it just for the Penguins?
Yes, just for the Penguins.
I thought it was a bigger deal.
I mean, he's now, I think, 12th in the NHL history, which is pretty great.
Yeah.
But yeah, there are only two players who have more assists with a single franchise, if that makes you feel better.
Sure. Feel great.
One of them's Wayne Gretzky.
Hey, what a guy, what a commentator there on the Winter Classic. Not to go back to that.
Oh gosh, he commentated that Winter Classic on the level that the Winter Classic at.
Yeah,
I didn't even say the score. The Blues won 6-2.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
All right, fine.
That was a thing that happened. That's how exciting the game was. I was more excited to talk about the low ratings than the actual game. Hockey happened, apparently.
Sorry to pull us back there, but once you said Wayne Gretzky, I just remember him doing his Wayne Gretzky things.
He certainly was. Some other, I guess, milestone behavior going on. Mm-hmm. We mentioned last week that Ovechkin's back.
Yeah, he is.
So the Caps have played, I think, 4 games this week, maybe 5.
Yeah.
They've played a lot of games this week. Anyway, he's already scored 4 goals.
He's back with Ovechkin. No, we'll cut that.
No. You're definitely leaving that in. I insist. He's back. He's on his Ovenge tour. No.
Oh man, look what I've done. Brought dad jokes.
That's never a good idea. Anyway, Ovechkin's back.
Yeah. Despite
breaking his leg just a few short months ago, he's back. He has scored 4 goals. He is unstoppable.
Yeah, and what a like you said, the Russian machine. Like what a machine. He's just out there doing the thing.
Yeah, he's now only 23 goals away from passing Gretzky for all-time goals scored in the NHL, which is wild.
Totally.
And the Capitals still have 43 games left to play this season. So assuming he doesn't break any more legs, he is definitely on a pace where he could do that.
Yeah. No, really cool. And some of the goals were like fairly interesting and exciting. They weren't other than like the empty net. Like he wasn't just standing where he stands and putting it in the net, you know.
Yeah, no, he was hustling around and doing stuff even with his just very newly healed leg.
He looks the youngest he's ever looked from me knowing him,
which is just the last 2 years.
Right.
So. Oh my gosh, I really need to show you some super old clips of Ovi. You would not understand that it was the same player. It's kind of wacky. The Capitals, one of the games they played this week was against the Wild on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And it came up sort of that Marc-Andre Fleury is the goalie that Ovechkin has scored the most against during his career. Because Fleury played with the Penguins for a long time. They're division rivals. They faced off a lot.
Okay.
So they interviewed Fleury about his race, and Fleury said, he probably owes me a few things for scoring so many goals on him. I helped him out pretty good, which I thought was funny.
That is funny.
But what was even funnier was that game went to a shootout, and it came down to Ovechkin, and Fleury made the save on Ovechkin and won the game for the Wild. So
love that.
Excellent final frank from Fleury on Ovechkin.
Yeah,
shutting him down in the shootout.
That's a good storyline.
It was really good. He came way out from the net, and it was very entertaining for me. I always like it when Fleury just does wild stuff like that. No pun intended. And then on Friday night, Ozzy Weisblatt made his NHL debut with the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
He was originally drafted by the Sharks and then traded to the Preds this summer. And in a video before the game, he introduced himself using American Sign Language, which then led to a video from 5 years ago popping up that was profiling his mom and his brothers and sister. And he and his 3 brothers all play high elite hockey. Mm-hmm. His mom is deaf and worked as a single mom, worked multiple jobs.
Right.
To pay for hockey, which we all know is a very expensive sport.
Yeah.
And now her son made the NHL.
Yeah. No, that was incredible. You showed me that video. You know, I have a deep love of science. I don't know. Appreciation. I don't know. It just gets me every time. I feel like it's something I need to learn.
Maybe that's your New Year's resolution this year.
I've already tried. It's a lot of work.
I know.
Yeah.
One day you'll get there.
One day.
If a kid can learn Spanish, you can learn sign language.
Right. I should be able to. But it was really cool. I love it. There's something about the deaf community I just really appreciate, and I'm glad to see them have success and also to be on a national stage with it. So
yeah, and I think the NHL, I feel like, has been pretty supportive, I guess, or they've been pretty open with having some of the commentating done in ASL, like for the Winter Classic. Again, not to go back to that but they did have an ASL broadcast.
Yeah, which was also very funny to watch. I know how to sign goal.
Exactly. Now, see, you have learned one new thing.
Yep.
But no, it was really sort of inspirational story. They seem like a really great family. And I was just delighted for this kid to make his debut. And his mom was there, and he flipped her a puck during warm-ups. And
Yeah, super.
very, very sweet. They've all worked really, really hard. And
that's awesome.
Super cool.
Now we got to try and get him off the Predators, huh?
I mean, it would have been nice if he would have still been with the Sharks, because the Sharks, I'm really kind of enjoying this season.
Okay.
You've known me for a long time. What would you say my biggest fear is?
Oh, sharks.
Yes.
I mean,
absolutely.
you tell strangers in the street, you'll flag them down and be like, "Hi, my name's Kate and I'm afraid of sharks." And they're like, "Excuse me?"
Yeah, no, I just feel like people need to be aware. It's a thing.
Yeah.
I know somebody who knows somebody who was attacked by a shark. Like, it happens all the time. Somebody I used to babysit for saved somebody's life after they were attacked by a shark.
It's true.
It's true.
Yeah. No, you sharks, that is a known quantity.
Known quantity. But I have maybe come around on the San Jose Sharks. They're pretty cute and cuddly. And
You've just been looking for an excuse since Delandria made it over there.
I have kind of always considered them, I guess, maybe like a sister city, I guess, San Jose and Dallas.
Okay.
Because Pavelski played with the Sharks for most of his career.
Right.
And then came to Dallas for sort of the end of it. So I kind of feel like took stewardship of him. And we were just, taking care of him for San Jose.
Right.
And then in return, we sent our beloved Ty Delandria over there. So we have a mutual, beneficial relationship with them.
Mm-hmm.
And then this season, with Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith, they've been fun to watch on the ice.
Yeah.
And they've been fun to watch off the ice because pair bonded rookies are always entertaining.
Yeah.
It's kind of a a tried and true tradition.
Okay.
So it's really fun. And they have kind of a great supporting cast too of eccentric, funny, interesting weirdos.
They got that one guy that I love.
Mario Ferraro.
Yeah, I like him.
I
just like him from the Players Association videos he did last year.
He gave a great press conference this week. They were somebody was asking him about, what it's like kind of trying to, come together when the team's been losing and things. And he talked about how it's really hard because they're all competitive. And he's like, these are guys we all like hang out together. We all drink beers together, except for the young guys who definitely don't drink beer unless they're in Canada, where some of them can drink beer legally, except, just kidding, they definitely don't drink beer. And it was great, and everybody was laughing, and he's just so unfiltered.
Yeah.
And we watched a behind-the-scenes video that was the reporter Emily asking questions to some of the players about like New Year's questions, basically.
Oh, yeah, right.
Like things that they did in the last year and things they're looking forward to in the upcoming year. And what just really struck me was everyone seemed happy to be there.
Yeah.
Nobody seemed like they had a gun to their head off camera,
right,
forcing them to answer questions. Unlike some people I could mention on the Dallas Stars, Jamie Benn, who looks just like they are torturing his family off camera whenever he is interviewed.
True. But yeah, Dallas doesn't have the social media outreach that some of these... I mean, this is how we've kind of not adopted, but just become interested and aware of other teams this year, is from their literal thing. Like, oh, Lady's going to interview players. We're going to watch it. What team's it for? We don't care.
Yeah, Capitals and Panthers both have great social media marketing presences.
Yeah.
So it's, social media goes a long way. That's all I'm saying.
For us, it does.
For us, it does.
And it should for everybody.
I mean, we don't have the attention span to do anything besides social media.
Yeah,
we are elder millennials.
Yeah.
Our brains are fried. We have nothing else going on.
Yeah, but they all did seem happy. And some of the teams do seem happy, and some of them seem pretty, not happy. Like, Boston sometimes seems happy with their social media things, and sometimes they're just like, oh, God, this again.
I mean, Marchand's always happy when he gets to talk about seeing David Pastrnak naked in the showers.
That was funny.
Yeah, people were not expecting that, and I'm like, why were you not expecting?
I wish
absolutely should.
I wish we could have seen the reporter's face, because he was just pushing back on the reporter.
That would have been fantastic. Oh, one more thing about the Sharks too was I ended up watching the Sharks play yesterday because
there wasn't much going on.
And I was like, oh, look, the Sharks game is starting. Let's do that. Yep. So the Sharks played. They won in, was it?
I don't know.
It was, I think, just very close to the end of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, it didn't go to overtime, did it?
Right. It was like maybe 20 seconds left in the game or something. Right. But Askarov was the goalie, and I haven't showed this to you yet, but after the game, he came out because he was one of the stars of the game, and he really hyped up the crowd. And then he high-fived the mascot, and it was super cute.
Oh, nice.
Beaming.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they just seem like they're really genuinely happy to be there, and that's really nice.
Yeah, because they know in the next couple of years they're getting the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. As one of our hockey YouTubers that we follow always says, future 2025 Stanley Cup champions, San Jose Sharks.
Yep. I don't know if it'll be 2025, but it'll be one of the 2020s, I think.
I think that they are on the track to get there faster than maybe people might believe.
Yep.
Get them one more good draft pick here, and then watch them cook.
Yeah. Send over Wyatt Johnston or something.
No. Stop it. Stop it. So moving over to Colorado, we've got Wedge Watch.
Wedge Watch.
It's a permanent segment, guys. Just deal with it.
Yep. We don't root for the Avalanche, but we do root for Wedgwood. So we kind of root for the Avalanche now.
You kind of root for the Avalanche. I still just root for Wedgwood, and that's that. So on Thursday, the Avalanche played the Buffalo Sabres. And a few minutes into the third period, the score was 3-2 in favor of the Sabres when Zach Benson got knocked into Wedgwood during a play. Mm-hmm. And even though Scott Wedgwood was on the ground, on his back, writhing around and crying out in pain, and the referee was standing over the net looking directly down at him, the referee decided to let the play continue on, and the Sabres scored a goal.
Yeah.
And then the trainer had to come out and hang out on the ice and evaluate Wedgwood. And then eventually Wedgwood had to leave the ice, limping, helped off by Yoel Kiviranta, another former Dallas Star.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was right over there.
All the other Colorado players were fighting all the Buffalo players. It was a scene.
Yeah.
So it sucked. It was really hard to watch.
We don't like that.
We don't like that. If there's anything that will bring Stars and Avs fans together, it's other people hurting Wedgwood. And the referee's not doing anything about it.
Yeah.
Really, really frustrating. Really bringing up, again, rules about when stoppages should happen. And I get it, they could pretend to be injured to stop the play. Like, do you really think that would happen? Like, that would be so annoying.
That'd be something that like a Kachuk would do.
Right. Kachucks aren't goalies. Like somebody with a Kachuk mindset isn't going to be a goalie. So.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the rules or anything about when things are, whistled down or whatever, but whatever was going on there wasn't cool, and I'm not a fan, and I don't like it, and they should have stopped it.
Yeah. I think that we can pretty much universally agree on that. It's, again, sort of brought up this discourse about how refs should have to do media after games and answer for their crimes.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't cool.
No.
It really was hard to watch.
Yep.
So I did look for updates this morning, and apparently it's not a high ankle sprain.
All right. I know Bednar was like, hopefully it's not that, but we don't have the imaging yet.
Yes. So apparently it's not. So Bednar is now optimistic we could see Wedgwood back on the ice in 1 to 2 weeks, which would be very cool because I have tickets to see the Stars play the Avs in 2 weeks here in Colorado. Mm-hmm. So I would like to see him. I'm probably going to make a sign. It's going to be real dorky.
Yeah. Well, we need him back so we can have a Wedge Watch.
Exactly.
It's part of our thing.
Yeah, it's like part of the template now for my document that I have every week. What am I going to put in the Wedge Watch column if there's no Wedge to watch?
Exactly. And you showed me like the pictures of him going into that game, and he was looking snazzy AF.
He was. Before the game, I was posting on social media. Meanwhile, look at Scott Wedgwood out here walking in, looking fine.
Yep.
Like my ex-boyfriend that got away. Just out there living his best life. And then, a few hours later, he would be horrifically injured.
Horrific.
Like, I understand making blood sacrifices for your team, but maybe not in a regular season game halfway through the season against the Buffalo Sabres, Scott. Like,
yeah.
Pick your moment a little more wisely. So, speaking of picking your moment a little more wisely, let's talk about the Flyers.
Okay. I don't really have much context for them this week.
Yeah, it was kind of hard. They were pretty much up against the Stars every time this week.
Right. Or they were late, right?
Or they were late. Yeah, I think there was one game they didn't even start till 8 o'clock our time, which is your bedtime. So that's
my bedtime.
It's your bedtime. I know. I wasn't waiting for you to argue or anything. So They played several games this week, just 3 actually, I guess. They were all road games. And they did win one of them.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they didn't win 2. So they played the Kings.
Yep. They lost.
They lost against the Kings.
Yep.
Kolosov was in goal. He allowed in 5 goals on 20 shots. So his save percentage was 75%, which is not great.
That doesn't seem like the target.
No, not super ideal. Goals did come from Tyson Forster, Scott Lawton, Matvey Michkov, and Joel Farabee.
All right, Michkov got one, so that's good.
And his was at even strength, too, which he's been kind of a power play merchant. So
All right.
having the even strength one was good for him. At a certain point, the Flyers were actually up 4-2, but then the Kings scored 3 unanswered, and the Flyers could never get back into it.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, really, the big takeaway from that game was that Will Ferrell showed up dressed as Buddy the Elf.
Oh, that was the one.
That was the one, but like a really disheveled,
Yep.
unhinged
Cigarette hanging.
Buddy the Elf with an unlit cigarette hanging out of his mouth, drinking a beer, unshaven. So everybody just wanted to talk about that, which is great because then nobody really wanted to talk about how the Flyers just kind of blew a lead.
Yeah. No, that was funny. That was everywhere.
That was everywhere. That definitely sort of broke out of the hockey world.
We did somehow click over to see that live, too.
We did. I think that was like maybe the Flyers were, or the Stars were on intermission. Maybe we flipped over to that and we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah. He didn't wear it the whole game, did he?
He did.
I didn't see him later in the game.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, you just weren't there.
I guess I wasn't.
Yeah, I went back. He was there most of the game and dressed like that, I believe. So.
Well, I appreciate his devotion to the Kings.
And his commitment to a bit.
Yeah.
So there you go. The Flyers actually played the Sharks on Tuesday, and the Flyers did win that one 4-0. So sorry, Sharky boys, but I do love the Flyers. Urson did start that game in goal and made some really athletic saves. But after the second period, he didn't come back in. Apparently, there was a net front collision at some point, and he was injured and didn't come back. So
he's got that mystery injury, right?
He's got that mystery injury that keeps flaring up. So we did have goals from Nick Seeler, Ryan Paling, Travis Konechny, and Igor Zamula. And there were a lot more shots on goal this time from the Flyers.
All right.
So that was a really positive game, at least.
Yep.
And then Thursday, the Flyers played Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas won 5-2.
Yeah.
Since Urson was injured, Kolosov was back in goal. He did do better that time. He had an 84.6% save average. So better than 75%. But the Flyers goaltending is just going to continue to be an issue. While that's uneven, it's going to be problematic.
Yeah, it's going to be. I mean, I didn't expect them to beat Vegas or the Kings. And at this point, when they win, it's great. When they don't, that's fine.
Exactly. They benefit from low expectations.
Yeah.
It's you go in, you're just like, listen, if they just show up and try, that's really all you could hope for. And sometimes they make it happen, and that's great. But yeah, I didn't really bother to watch the highlights of this one too closely because I won't subject myself to Vegas unless I really, really have to. And, if the Flyers win, of course I will subject myself to highlights. But if they don't, what's the point?
Yeah, totally. And I've been, watching Tort's interviews here and there, and they've just been kind of bland, nothing to write home about. So,
yeah, when Torts does some unhinged shit, then that's always worth reporting on.
Yeah. No, there hasn't been anything of note.
Well, in that case, I think we should just go ahead and move on to the Stars, because the Stars have given us a lot to talk about this week.
They've given you a lot to talk about.
By us, I usually mean me. It's true. So, for some positive news, Oscar Beck signed a 2-year extension with the Stars on Thursday.
We like that.
We do like that. I feel like you've maybe gotten kind of a skewed perspective on how development in the NHL works, because you've largely seen it from the Dallas Stars in the last few years and then the Flyers this year with Michkov.
Right.
So you don't usually just get like super awesome rookies who are good to go right out of the gate.
Correct.
It takes them a while to ripen and mature and develop through the system.
Basically, the high seed draft people are probably good to go, but maybe even not.
Right.
And then everybody else is like, oh boy, we'll find out.
Exactly. So Oscar Beck was drafted back in 2018, so 3 years before Wyatt Johnston. So he's been part of the Dallas Stars organization since then.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So he played for 3 years in Sweden, which was basically his whole entry-level contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then he signed a 2-year contract with Stars and played every one of those games at the AHL level,
Okay.
which was the Texas Stars. And then he signed a 1-year, and that was this year, basically. So he made his NHL debut this season.
Okay.
In the first game of the season.
Perfect.
So, yeah, he's had 5 solid years of development before being deemed NHL ready.
Yep.
First in Sweden, then Texas Stars, and then finally in the NHL. So this 2-year extension he signed, it was the first day he was like legally eligible to sign this 2-year extension. So
Okay.
I think that they've had it in mind that he was going to be a good long-term piece for them, sort of a bottom 6 forward.
Okay.
So I think he's done really well. I think it's a good value for us. He's bigger, not like the biggest, but bigger.
Not a tiny boy.
Not a tiny boy. We have a lot of tiny boys.
Okay.
So, and we do need somebody bigger. I think he's been really solid from what we've seen. I think he's just going to be a good value for us. So I'm really happy about it. I think it's good. I think he's a nice kid too. So.
Yeah. I've heard his name mentioned. He seems competent. I don't worry about him out there. I think he did get some hits on him, kind of the welcome to the NHL hits, right?
He did, but he shook him off pretty well.
Yep.
And he hasn't been really out injured or anything like that. And he can lay some hits too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a pretty strong 2-way forward. I feel like he's maybe kind of filling that like Radek Faksa role.
Okay.
That we have been missing since Radek Faksa went to the Blues. So yeah, I like him. I think it's a good move for us.
Okay, good.
Yeah. On last week's episode, you asked if there was anything I was hoping to see in the new year with the Stars. And I said, we're disappointing right now, and I just don't want to be disappointing.
Okay.
So in week 1 of the new year, I think we're on the right track. We weren't disappointing this week. I don't know how much of a ringing endorsement that is.
Hey, that's a good way to... It's better than the alternative to start the new year, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, we had, let's see, 4 games this week. And I think we won them all, if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
I'm not saying we looked good in all of them.
Yeah, true.
But we did win them all, and that's something. So let's start Sunday. We played Chicago. We beat them 5-1.
Okay.
Now, some people would be like, okay, Chicago, 5-1. That's cakewalk. Don't forget that in November, Chicago beat us 6-2.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, no, you can't count out any of these teams against Dallas at any point in time.
Yeah, you just really can't discount that.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a secret that things were pretty dire for the Stars the last few weeks. So we had to summon a power boost in the form of one Joe Pavelski, who drove in to see us at that game.
That's right. He came down from Wisconsin. Yeah.
Yes, he and his son came down. So there were lots of pictures on Instagram of him with the players, and the players just beaming at him and him beaming back at the players.
He was looking relaxed and healthy and happy.
His hair looked even better than usual, which is crazy because his hair always looks so banging. I can't remember the last time my hair looked that banging.
It's that Wisconsin water.
I guess so.
He needed to get out of Dallas.
I guess so. I mean, it looks so good in Dallas, too. It's like, how was it going to look better? Dude could be a hair model now that he's retired.
Maybe,
so.
Maybe just for men. Just for Pavelski.
Just for Pavelski. He's the only one who's good enough to use those products. Well, I just feel like everybody needed to like a paternal influence because they really did well.
Yeah.
We didn't put on our best performance right away. We did our standard terrible power play.
Yep.
And then the camera cut to Pavelski looking really dismayed in the audience. And then I think the power of his disappointment was felt because we did score on the next power play.
Yeah. The power play, man. I tell you, I got to the point of just wishing ill on their power play so that something would happen. But they seem to have, I wouldn't say turned it around, but it's been...
They're making progress?
There we go.
Question mark?
There you go.
So in that game, we had a 5-minute major against us. Tyler Bertuzzi elbowed Colin Blackwell in the face, possibly broke his nose. Colin Blackwell doesn't give a fuck. He's like, look at Stankoven. He's just like, whatever. He still kept playing, has not missed a game.
Bertuzzi, he's so skeezy. So.
He's just the worst. Like, it wasn't even like, it was just like his natural inclination of his body. It was like he'd almost finished the hit cleanly, and then at the last second, his elbow was like, oh, wait, hang on. I got to elbow this guy in the nose for no reason.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so stupid.
He's like, I'll sneak this one in here. They're not going to see. Yeah. Oh, whoops. They saw it.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I don't even think it was on purpose. It's just like his body's natural inclination is dirty hits. Like he can't not do it. It's just encoded in his DNA, which I think he does have like a relative who also did that. Maybe a father. So we'll have to look into that. Anyway, he got kicked out of the game.
Yep.
We had a 5-minute major. Jason Robertson did score right away on that, which is great. Here's the thing about a 5-minute major. Do you know how many goals you can score during a 5-minute major?
Theoretically or
like theoretically, like while you're up a man.
I don't like 20.
Like as many as you want. Like there is no like point where the power play ends because it's like, oh, you've hit all of the goals you can.
Right.
It's not like a double minor where like you can score once in the first 2 minutes and then once in the next 2 minutes.
Right.
And get like 2 goals and then like you're not up a man anymore. You can just score goals like nonstop.
Just be out there scoring goals.
Just constantly. And we've had at least a couple of 5-minute majors this season where we haven't made anything happen. And then this one we made one happen like pretty immediately and then nothing else.
Nothing else. Yeah.
And it just sucks.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. We can do better than this.
It's like, oh, look, we're fixed. Oh, we're not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, it's like, I don't want to be like super hard on them, but like at the same time, I don't want to be like, okay, great. You got like 1. We spent so much time on the power play that game.
No, wasn't it like 10 times? It was ridiculous, right?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
We were on the power play a lot besides that 5-minute major. And that was still, I think, the only power play goal we had.
Yeah.
So it was really, really stupid. With Sagan out for the rest of the season and with Marchment out week to week, we are still rearranging lines.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also cycling through different forwards.
Mm-hmm.
We're having to bring people up from the AHL. So in that game against Chicago, Justin Ritzkovian made his debut for the Stars on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So he's another small baby rookie. He's 5'11", 23 years old. He's Quebecois. He originally went undrafted. He played in college for Northeastern University, who's been very adorably supportive of him on social media.
Oh, that's nice.
And for 2 years running in college, he was recognized as the Hockey East best defensive forward, which makes him a really good fit for the fourth line.
Yeah.
And he did, in fact, spend his 6 minutes on ice on the fourth line with Steele and Blackwell that game.
Mm-hmm.
So good for him. But, maybe that is part of why we're looking a little discombobulated because, again, we're scrambling the lines and then we just have random new babies in the lineup.
Right.
So, again, I guess benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I mean, these are, big changes, new people, new faces, new dynamics. It makes sense. It would be a little rocky.
Yeah. It's a 5-1 victory. So I'm just going to celebrate the 5-1 victory, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, Tuesday, we played the Sabres, and we won that one 4-2. This one was upsetting to me because we found out before the game that Leon Bichel had been sent down for real.
Yeah. And we rioted.
Yeah. It was not a good day in this household.
It was not a good day.
It was dark. There was rending of clothes. There was wailing. There was gnashing of teeth.
Yeah. No, it's like, what's the point of hockey if we're not having Bichel?
If Bichel's not here, why am I here?
Right.
Like, there's no point to it. So, yeah, Matt Dumba, he's better, which, like, good for him, like, on a personal level. Like, being injured sucks, and I don't wish him to be injured. I also just don't wish him to be playing on my team. So... It would be nice if he was playing on a different team. Like, I wish him health and happiness elsewhere. So that Leon Bichel can be on our team full time because he's great. Yeah. And I love him.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, he was pictured meeting Pavelski and shaking hands with him, and he was wearing his skates. And so he was a full foot taller than Pavelski.
Oh, God, yeah.
It was adorable. He was just like a big hulking behemoth. He's just like a very large puppy.
Yep.
Super, super cute. So there were really great opportunities for both sides in the game for Buffalo.
Okay.
Both of the goalies looked great. It was Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and our backup goalie.
Yep.
Which was another reason why I was kind of over this game before it even started.
You do get a little stressed with him.
I do. He's unpredictable.
Yeah.
To say the least. We did crack Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen first, I believe.
Yep.
It was a really tight back and forth game, but we did get goals from Robo, Wyatt, and Lindell. Wyatt's goal was on a flawless tip-in, which felt like residual magic from Pavelski from the game before, because we've been really missing those tip-in goals from him.
Yeah.
We haven't had a lot of great net front presence this season.
No, and the tipping culture is, oh boy. Anyway,
I know you tried. You tried. It's okay.
need more coffee.
And tipping culture is out of control, but apparently Dallas doesn't tip.
There we go.
See, I got the joke. So you just give me the premise and I'll punch it up for you.
God, that was great.
We also had a goal from Essa Lindell, which was an empty net that was from 190 feet down the ice, which he kind of specializes in. I need to dig up all of the footage from those and make a compilation video because he's so good at these just casual empty net goals from the other end of the ice.
I mean, the Stars do seem to have a problem putting it in the empty net from far down the ice.
That wasn't even this game. That was the next game. So we'll get into that one.
But even last season, I just remember like Sagan, Robertson, Marchment, like all shooting on this one goal one time, just couldn't make it happen.
I'm pretty sure we're allergic to empty nets. It's kind of the classic Dallas Stars, like, oh no, I can't do it. I'm a hot girl. I don't. It's one of our worst qualities is our inability to get an empty net. It's just like, guys, it's the easiest. Come on. And it's not just like you can't do it from the other end of the ice or like through defenders. It's like we'll be on like a breakaway and we'll just like decide to pass it for no reason.
Yep.
It's the dumbest. So speaking of stupid hockey, let's move on to the Senators game on Thursday.
Okay.
So we had another lineup change. Justin Ritzkovian went back down to the AHL and was replaced by Arttu Huru.
Huru.
Which is a fun name to say.
It is.
His last name is spelled Hyry, but it's pronounced Huru.
Yeah, we saw him play.
We did. We actually saw Ritzkovian play too.
Oh, okay, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when we saw the Texas Stars, when they came to Colorado.
And those were the three names, right?
Ritzkovian, Huru, and Bischel were pretty much the three people who stood out to us.
Yeah.
And now we've seen them all make their NHL debuts this season. You know, when we watched them play, you know, obviously everyone's really good at the AHL level too. It's not like they're not good, but those three really stood out as being sort of head and shoulders above the rest. Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. Noticeable to me without knowing anything about AHL hockey. Like, I was like, get that other guy back on the ice. He's way better than this guy.
Right.
And it would be one of those guys.
Yes. And I knew their names because I had watched preseason, but you did not.
Yeah.
You were like, God, season's bad enough. I don't want to do preseason too.
Nope. No preseason. Nope.
Yeah. So Huru came up for this game. Ritzkovian went back down. Huru is another undrafted player like Ritzkovian, and he is Finnish. And as we all know, more Finns equals more wins.
Yep.
He was one of the last players to be cut from training camp this year, so he was very, very close to making that final roster.
Gotcha.
He's been really crushing it in the AHL. So this game was just like a wild ride. It's like the hockey game equivalent to like my life between 1999 and 2003, like my hot mess era.
Oh, okay.
In college.
Yeah.
It was like we would do really good stuff and then we would just fuck it up on purpose. Like we were our own worst enemy all game. It was just like self-sabotage city.
Yeah.
So we had a gorgeous tip and goal from Rope Hintz on the power play, no less.
Right.
So great. Like two things we've been missing, like net front, tip and goal, power play goal. So how did we follow that up? We immediately turned the goal over directly to the Senators and they scored a goal. Mm-hmm. And then the next shift, we did the same thing. Just handed the puck directly to a Senators player.
Right.
So, and then they scored twice in a row.
Yep.
Within, a minute of each other. Mm-hmm. So why? Why would you do that? Just why?
Yeah. Well,
and that was, I think, I want to say it was Harley and Heiskanen who did that.
Okay.
Like those are our good D-men. Like,
Yep.
It was just stupid. It was so pointless. It's like, get out of your own way. But they're like, no, I want to make it harder for myself for no reason at all. But I'm fancy, so we're going to be extra fancy. And it's like, you don't get like extra points for degree of difficulty. And if like the reason it's difficult is because you fucked it up on purpose, like it's not cute.
It's not on purpose, obviously, but like, is it a lack of focus, you think? What is it?
Yes, obviously it's not on purpose, but it just is like, it's self-sabotage. I don't know what it is. It's just this like, this impulse. It's
a like, destructive impulse.
I think like the Dallas Stars might be ADHD icons.
Maybe.
Like,
yeah, that could be.
It's like, oh, I've got this intense focus. Like, okay, I got this one thing on my to-do list accomplished. fuck everything else. Like, I guess I don't have to pay attention anymore. And like, I mean, I get it. I also like have very bad ADHD and also fuck up my own life with alarming regularity. But I don't know, like,
Yeah.
I don't get paid that well.
No. You feel like, yeah, for the amount of time you got to focus and be out there and just stick on task, you could do it.
Yeah, like they have very short shifts. Like I can pay attention for like a minute and a half.
I mean, they probably can't take Ritalin before they go out on the ice, though.
They've got, I'm pretty sure they can and do. I'm pretty sure they take more intense stuff than that. I'm just saying, there are rumors. Oh, and yeah, well, just one more thing, by the way.
Okay.
Those 2 goals that the Senators scored back to back, those were their first 2 shots on the net.
Yeah. Was that Ottinger or was that backup?
It was Ottinger.
Yeah.
But specifically the first one, really not his fault. There's no way he could have anticipated the turnover.
Oh, you're right. There's no way.
The second one was also a turnover. I feel like maybe he could have had that one, but
Gotcha.
Really, again, these were squarely on our D-men.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, like, I saw a good chunk of that game. The Senators, when they didn't look bad, looked pretty okay. They seemed kind of chaotic, like they would just fall apart and put themselves back together in the middle of a play and then fall apart and put them out. So
they're kind of Flyers-esque in that way. Yeah,
they were scrappy, maybe because of unforced errors that needed them to be scrappy. I don't know, but they didn't look terrible. They didn't look great.
Right. I think their sloppiness saved us.
Right.
Because we were, after those 2 errors, we were able to really lock it down defensively, which was really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And then we managed to score some goals, which was also really helpful.
That also helps.
Jamie Benn went bar down, and then a minute later, Rope Hint scored what would be the game-winning goal off of some really patient work where Robo was in front of the net, and he couldn't get through, so he sort of turned around and passed the puck back to Rope, who got it in.
Yep.
And then in the third period, Matt Duchene scored off of a pass from Wyatt. So Wyatt was behind the net and got the puck out to Duchene. And Wyatt's been kind of making that his bread and butter lately, where he gets behind the net and gets the puck out to somebody. Usually it's Jamie Benn, but in that particular case, it's Duchene, because they've had Ben and Wyatt, Jamie Benn and Wyatt Johnston up with Matt Duchene.
Yeah.
For the last couple of games now, as part of the line blender palooza that's been going on.
Yeah. Well,
it's been working out okay.
I'm always happy when they get it from behind the net into the center and there's somebody there. So, like, there's so many teams that they just turn around and they're like, all right, here we go into the middle, and there's nobody there, and it's just right to the defense.
Yeah, I feel like we've not had somebody there, so it's been nice for us to, again, get back to those roots and have somebody there. We're not really tipping it in most of the time, but I don't care how it gets in, and as long as it gets in, that would be great. We did know, I think, that Duchene would score that last goal because he turned on the Jets.
God, as soon as Josh said, Duchene turns on the Jets, we're like, well, good things are going to happen.
Anytime he turns on the Jets, he scores, but he can only do it like once every like 3 or 4 games.
Yeah, apparently the Jets have a...
like a long recharging period.
Exactly. He should turn them on more, though. Like, they should work towards that.
Yeah, that would be great. So that goal got us up 4-2, but there were still 6.5 minutes left in the game. And I would have really loved an empty net goal for some insurance at that point.
Right.
We could not get an empty net goal to save our lives because, again, that is just like the Dallas Stars way. Like, we are ostentatiously bad at empty net goals. It's like, oh, we're cool rebels. We don't need to get an empty net. Like, again, it's the self-sabotage.
Didn't you
of it all?
Didn't you say, like, Rope doesn't even like to get empty? Like, some of them don't even like to get empty net goals.
No, I said Rope doesn't like to block shots.
Oh, okay.
He'll do it, but I still remember an article from a few years ago that he's like, oh, the penalty kill. I don't like blocking shots.
Yeah.
Like, I get it, Rope. I wouldn't either. But no, they were doing the empty net thing. They had many opportunities for an empty net. There's one quote I actually went back and wrote down from Josh on the broadcast. Duchene thought about shooting, passed it to Robertson, pass didn't connect.
Right.
On an empty net goal.
Yeah. Like,
Duchene could have gotten it. Like, he had a clear shot to the net and he passed it to Robo for no reason. And then a Sabre picked it off. Like,
well, that one he did definitely on purpose. And that was a mistake.
It just, I'm just like, guys, shoot the puck. Just shoot the puck. Shoot the puck.
Yeah.
Shoot the puck.
Puck in the net.
I just feel like thought about shooting it that could have been the name of our podcast. If, like, we had started the podcast this year, like thought about shooting the puck, the Dallas Star story.
Right.
Like didn't do it. Cast didn't connect to the Dallas Star story. Like we have an inability to commit.
True.
And it's really an issue for us.
I will say, compared to last year, I remember just raging about their inability to make a pass connect in the neutral zone. And I haven't felt that way this year. So that's good. Passes must be connecting more.
I guess, but they're still not shooting.
I mean, that's
And when they do shoot, like they will describe it as, well, I decided to be selfish this time. And I'm just like, it's not selfish to score goals. It's just like literally playing hockey.
right.
And again, I just feel like this comes down from this like organizational, like, oh, we play hockey by committee sort of thing. There are no stars. We are Zool. Like, I don't,
The ocean, the boats lifting the water. Something.
Yes, the rising tide lifts all boats. And
They got to knock that shit off.
I get it. Like, yeah, you want everybody to like perform and participate and everything, but like,
Yeah.
they also have to try and like
And shoot
the puck.
Yeah, in the net.
Like it won't get in the net if you don't shoot it.
Right.
It's just kind of a thing.
That's hockey one.
It's so frustrating.
Hockey 101 from what I understand.
I know, and people blame it on the players, and I do think the players should shoot more, but I feel like it's coming organizationally.
Yeah.
It's I think from the coaching staff.
Yeah.
So anyway, we won, but it just didn't feel that satisfying because every obstacle was our own creation.
Yeah.
Like, and I just don't know what's going on with the team. Like, did we get tired of being perfect and no one noticed us? And so now we're acting out for attention?
Yeah, maybe that's it.
What's happening? Like, I'm kind of here for it, though, because I guess I'd rather be, like, messy and exciting than perfect and boring.
I mean, that's how I remember you talking about the Stars years ago and why you liked them, is that kind of
imperfection.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you kind of never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, really, that's kind of what I remember about my life from college. So,
yeah,
messy but exciting. So, sorry you got stuck with the old boring version of me.
It's all right. It suits me more.
Yeah, and you're probably way more into that, honestly. And then last night we played Utah.
Yep.
The first period was really good. I've been complaining lately that we have been lacking both speed and stamina.
Right.
By we, I mean the Stars.
Yes.
The Stars looked good on speed and stamina last night. I will never look good on speed and stamina personally.
Speed and stamina, not our strong suit.
Never have been, never will be.
Yeah.
But they looked really good on both fronts. So that was good. Jamie in particular was playing with tons of energy. He was taking shots. He was making plays. He made a comically large hit on somebody.
Yes, I missed most of the first period trying to edit like a GIF of that and struggling.
You did.
And then I looked up and it was the second period and I was like, oh shit, I guess I missed a lot.
I know. I did try to keep up running commentary, but you were not paying any attention to me. So unfortunately, our energy levels seemed to dip pretty significantly during the next two periods. The second period is really where all the action happened. We scored 2 goals. Buffalo scored 2 goals. Utah scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
So, all the teams start to blur together after a while. Mm-hmm. Jamie scored 16 seconds into the second period, and it was off of Wyatt feeding him a puck from behind the net.
Love that.
And for the other one, Nils Lundqvist was like, oh, are we being whimsical? I'll show you whimsical. And he shot the puck, and it bounced off of Arttu Huru, and then off of Oscar Beck's skate and went into the goal.
Yeah.
So Beck got credit for the goal, and Huru got his first NHL point, and neither of them did anything. They were basically
they just had to stand there.
Obstacles.
Yeah.
That Nils Lundqvist bounced pucks off of, which was kind of great.
Man, I saw him in like the handshake line or whatever. Man, he doesn't look a day over 14 years old.
He is very, very young looking. He is also just a very fresh-faced young man.
Yeah.
We have a lot of clean-cut, fresh-faced young men.
Yes.
Which is maybe why Wyatt Johnston is trying to grow a mustache. I don't know.
Yeah, he's going to be oh boy.
Yeah. So the game did go to OT, and it was actually pretty exciting on both sides. We had some really good chances in either direction. Mm-hmm. Good saves from the goalies. And Harley had been having a really rough game. He had some really terrible turnovers. He's been getting paired with Dumbo a lot, and it's like, He's picked up all of Dumbo's worst tendencies. It's been pretty rough. You actually said that Arlie needed to score last night.
I think I said that in like the first period. I was like, you know what? I heard his name and I was just like, he needs to do better.
Yeah, you did. You were like, I haven't noticed him at all this year. Has he even scored? He needs to score.
Yeah.
Well, it was the Thomas Harley redemption tour because he scored the game-winning goal.
Yeah.
And it was really good. So good for him.
Yeah.
And it was a kind of an exciting 3-on-3, which is always nice.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I mean, if you win a game in overtime, do you really win the game?
Yes, you do.
I mean, technically, yeah.
Yes.
But anyway, you know what I'm saying.
I did watch Harley's post game, and he said, we're a veteran team. We know what it takes to win and to kind of grind out wins. And he just made it sound so unglamorous.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like, I get it, but like, it can also be glamorous. Like, you can still have a fun and sexy time.
Yeah, he could have a fun and sexy time. He's choosing not to.
Yeah. I feel like the team is actively choosing not to have a fun and sexy time.
Right.
So I guess let's maybe go into our fun segment for the week.
Oh, our fun segment.
Our fun segment. So.
I just was going to say,
yes.
With the Stars, what I've noticed this past week is that they seem to be playing more systematically. And that seems to be, for me, it's kind of boring. Like, I'm like, oh, yeah, they're doing the thing that they're supposed to do. Yep. Mm-hmm. But anyway, it seems to be working out for them at least, even though it still seems like a bit of a struggle.
I can see that. I feel like they are trying to shake it up, but they don't remember how.
Right.
They're trying to get their groove back, but they don't remember where they put their groove.
Yeah.
So they're just kind of looking around for their groove, and they don't know where it is.
Yeah. And Harley's a pretty good indication of that, because he is a fun guy. I don't know if he's a sexy guy, but he's a fun guy. Or at least he seemed like he was. And you're right. He just seemed real media trained last night. Like the typical responses. Also, the questions they ask are terrible. I'd respond the same way, but...
Well, I think this is actually a really good opportunity to go into our closing segment.
Perfect.
So sometimes we play a fun game. Today, though, I want to talk about sort of hockey archetypes.
Hockey archetypes. I'm excited about this.
Yeah. So I showed you a tweet last night from Javechkin on Twitter that said, every team needs at least one DILF, one feral rookie, and an absolute weirdo to reach their full potential.
Yeah.
So... it kind of dovetails with something I was talking about on the New Year's Eve game. As we talked about, I was distraught that game because no Leon Bischel.
Yeah.
There were other things going on. And at one point during the game, I had this big realization, and I turned to you and I said, I think I know what's wrong with the Dallas Stars.
Yep.
And I said, we do not have a little rat man.
Don't have a little rat man.
And you were like, what the fuck?
And then it all just made sense.
But then, yeah, I had to, once I explained to you, like, what a little rat man is, you were like, oh, yeah, you're right. We don't have a little rat man.
There's no little rat man.
Yeah. So, a little rat man, that's like somebody who's going to stir some shit up and, like, get a little, mix it up and fight a little bit and maybe talk some shit.
And not like the biggest guys.
Not necessarily the biggest guys.
The scrappy guys.
The scrappy guys.
Yeah.
Matthew Tkachuk, little rat man.
Yep.
Travis Konechny, little rat man.
Yep.
Brad Marchand's a little rat man.
Okay.
He's not like my particular flavor of little rat man. I'm not into him, but like...
That's fine. He can...
But like, if he appeals to your particular fan base, like he is a little rat man.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, Matthew Tkachuk does not appeal to everybody, but he appeals to me. So.
Yeah.
And he appeals to the Florida fan base. So
Right.
He's a good little rat man.
Yeah. And there are others, I'm guessing, throughout the league.
There are certainly others. Others now. There have been others throughout time.
Yeah.
Not every team has a little rat man.
Right.
Not every team even needs a little rat man, but I think the Dallas Stars desperately need a little rat man.
A little rat man.
Like, I don't think the Sharks necessarily need a little rat man because they have like pair bonded rookies and they have like this cuteness going on.
Yeah,
it's, like,
sure.
Working for them.
Yeah.
So I don't know them like well enough to know. Maybe they have a little rat man and I just don't know about it. Like, I don't know all of the teams well enough to know.
Yeah, like, what about the Ducks? Is Gudis or, like, Trouba a little rat man, or are they too big to be little rat men?
They're too big to be little rat men.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who would be little rat men for them.
Yeah. Somebody who's pesty, more than, like, hard-hitting.
Right, more of a pest. Somebody who's going to, like, talk as much shit as they are going to also throw gloves.
Right.
Gonna be just real annoying.
Yeah. Like
basically, if they went to the Matthew Tkachuk Academy for Pests,
right,
they are little rat men.
Right.
So the Dallas Stars don't have one of those.
They don't.
I think the closest we have is Mason Marchment, who is a reluctant rat man.
Yeah. Yeah, he
So he's not like an intentional rat man.
right.
He is just somebody who's very expressive and has very long legs. So he gets sent to the penalty box a lot, often for embellishment.
Right.
And then sometimes for like high sticking and stuff. But it's not his fault. He's very expressive, not embellishing. He's just expressive. And then also he just can't control his limbs.
Right.
So he's not trying to hurt people. He's just very misunderstood.
He didn't choose the rat man life.
The rat man life chose him.
Right.
Exactly. So he's a reluctant rat man.
Yeah.
And then we also had Tyler Sagan, who is not a rat man, but he does have like rat man energy.
Yeah.
He does have kind of that vibe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think when the two of them were in the lineup, we had like enough kind of rat man energy going on that it was okay. But now with both of them out, there's no little rat man energy to carry us through.
Yeah. I feel like they combine into like a solid rat man energy. Like Marchman's kind of got the goofy, like reluctant rat man, and then Sagan's kind of the like high class, like, I don't know, casino.
He's like a sleazy rat.
Sleazy rat man.
But like a charming.
Yeah, charming.
You know who's a rat man is Leon Draisaitl, but he's a European rat man.
Ooh.
So he's like very well groomed and sophisticated. So he doesn't necessarily seem like a rat man.
Yeah.
But he's actually like sneakily like the meanest kind because of like all of the like spearing people in the nuts.
Right, right. To us Americans, he looks cultured, but to probably a European, they're like, oh, that's a rat man right there.
Oh, exactly. They're like, that's the worst kind of rat man. Like he does not represent us.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, no, Leon Draisaitl definitely a rat man. He's just a fancy rat man.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, we don't have a little rat man.
No, there is no little rat man.
And it's like throwing our ecosystem out of balance, I think, is the problem.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so that's an issue. And then also last night when I was looking on Reddit, somebody described Logan Stankoven as a sweet baby angel. Like they were talking about how he can't score a goal to save his life and why can't our sweet baby angel score a goal. And then I started thinking and I was like, oh my God, we have an abundance of sweet baby angels right now. Like we've got Logan.
Yep.
We have Wyatt Johnston.
Yep.
We have Maverick Bork.
Yep.
We have Oscar Back, who is kind of large, but I think still a sweet baby angel.
Yeah.
I would consider Thomas Harley kind of adjacent to that group. He's still pretty young.
He fall. Yeah.
Now that you mention it, Nils Lundqvist kind of.
Oh, seriously.
I mean, he looks like a tiny baby.
Yeah.
When you have the people coming up from the AHL, you've got Huru and Ritzkovian.
Yeah.
Both sweet baby angels.
Not rat men.
Not rat men.
Not even rat boys.
No, none of them are rat men.
Nope.
I would even argue that Bischel could be sort of in that sweet baby angel category because while he is large and while he loves to fight, he also like loves to cook and loves solitude and is kind of sweet too.
Yeah.
I don't know if he is a baby angel, but I feel like he hangs out with them off the ice and cooks them risotto and tells them it's fancy mac and cheese. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I feel like he's more of a caretaker for the baby angels.
He's like, don't worry, this is mac and cheese. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll eat it now.
Yes, exactly. No, he's a man of culture. So he's not really a little rat man either. Because, like, he can be violent, but he's, like, not going to talk shit. Like, he just prefers to, like, hit you and be done with it. Like,
right.
He's not going to... So we just don't have a little rat man.
No, I feel like there's potential, right? Like, I feel like Stankoven could learn to be a rat man.
I do think Stankoven wants to be a rat man. I think Wyatt Johnston could be a rat man. I think he has that potential. I think he has the desire. Like every time we play the Capitals, he and Tom Wilson get in each other's face.
Yeah.
Which is delightful to me.
Yeah.
So like, he's not afraid. He wants to mix it up. They just have very sweet little faces, and Logan Stankoven's also very small. So they have that going against them, and it's really kind of keeping them back from their rat potential.
Yeah,
maybe.
I don't know. I think the scrappiness of Stankoven could lead into rat man tendencies. I don't know if he'd be a rat or some kind of rat, but
yeah, maybe a chinchilla. Something from like the mustelid family.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. He would be like rodent adjacent for sure. But I do think he has the capability for sure.
And you talking about Wyatt having that impulse too. Maybe it's just the coaching staff that's kind of holding them back. And it's like, no, don't be a rat man. We're the Dallas Stars. We're not rat.
We don't take unnecessary penalties. We're gentlemen.
Exactly.
Be gentle rat men.
Yeah.
Like, be rat gentlemen. I don't.
Right.
And we really, I think, have to count on this generation of sweet baby angels to find a rat man amongst their group, because none of the older ones are going to do it.
No.
Rope is not going to do it.
Nope.
Miro.
Nope.
Robo certainly isn't going to do it.
He is not a rat man.
Robo turns into like Homer melting into the bushes whenever anything happens on the ice.
When anything happens.
That's just like any kind of squabble or anything. He's just like, nope, I'm invisible. Can't catch me.
Yep.
Like, and the thing with the ratmen too is that they need to be skilled and ratty. Like,
oh yeah.
You can't just be a rat.
No, don't do no. Yeah, exactly.
Because then that's an entirely different thing. So like Matt Dumbo won't be able to be our rat man because he doesn't have the skill to make up for it.
He's got the right vibes though.
He does have the vibes. He could be that, but you need to have more skill.
Right.
Like that's the problem is we have this big divide between, we have like our skill players and then we have our physical players. So like we've got like our sort of like Brendan Smith and like our Matt Dumba were brought in to be like our muscle.
Right.
And then like Jamie Benn is kind of, he's skilled and he fights, but like we talked about it. I described it as like obligatory fisticuffs for him.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't like start shit to like be fun and sexy.
No.
He's just like, oh, somebody did something. I got to throw the gloves down and do a boxing match and like fight for honor.
Yeah.
It's just like, be fun and sexy. Come on, guys.
Yeah. Fun and sexy. It's not
fun and sexy.
No.
So, and you know what makes things fun and sexy?
Little rat men.
Little rat men.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they can. I guess.
I mean, they do, though. Like, I'm sorry, Matthew Tkachuk and Travis Konecny both make things fun and sexy.
They do.
And it's their little rat men energy that does it.
Yeah.
At least in my opinion.
I think that there's a lot to be said about.
And Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah. No, I think there's a lot to be said about the archetypes of hockey. And I think we start with the little rat man.
I think there are plenty of other archetypes that we can get into and address and that we are probably missing. But I think the key ingredient that's missing right now for the Dallas Stars is a little rat man. So I think that we need to get right on that.
Yeah. Do you think Jason Robertson's a little more prairie dog? Gives me prairie dog vibes.
Just like pops the head out of the hole and it's like, fuck no. And just like retreats. Yeah. I definitely get prairie dog vibes from him. Even like the little tufts of hair sticking out from the helmet has prairie dog vibes.
Yeah.
So, oh gosh, maybe next week we figure out what animal each Dallas Star is. We already know Logan Stanko is a honey badger.
Yeah.
Robo's a prairie dog.
Yep.
So we're gonna need to go down the list.
There we go.
All right. Well, that's the end of regulation for this week's episode of Ice is Slippery. You can find us on Tumblr, Instagram, and now TikTok at Ice is Slippery Pod, where I occasionally post content whenever I happen to get around to it. You can also find us on Twitter at Slippery Ice Pod. If, like Fred, you avoid social media, you can email us at iceisslipperypod@gmail.com, where we would love to hear your spicy takes or get suggestions for future games. Until next week, stay out of the penalty box.